For the last time in the preseason, we have a game day episode of Boy Green Daily. New York Jets, Philadelphia Eagles, 7:30 tonight. What the hell are we going to be looking for? We'll tell you with a special guest. Boy Green Daily starts right now.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
How you doing, everybody? I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, like the video, hit subscribe. We are 99 subscribers away from 8,000. So we have climbed closer and closer, baby. So feel free to join the army and slap that subscribe button, baby. It is a game day episode. We'll have a full preview today with a special guest coming on in just a minute, and then in about 15 hours or so, we'll have a live post-game show. As soon as the final whistle has blown, we'll give you all our takeaways from Jets Eagles with myself and a special guest, Gunny Gumby. NY Jets Situation Report will be joining me to take your phone calls after the game, and our next game up after that is the Week 1 season opener against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have finally arrived, baby. And you want to know who else has arrived? Our special guest every Friday. He is one of the greatest New York Jets historians of all time. And he is the author of that wonderful book right there, Beyond Broadway Joe, the team that changed football forever. Bob Lederer graces us with his presence. What's up, Bob? Good morning. Oh, wow.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
A great call. I love all pop culture references on this show, Bob Lederer, and we've got some. So yeah,
I got a whole bunch lined up for today. So get ready.
Oh, good. I can't wait. Well, Bob, we finally made it to the preseason finale. This is the last game that counts, but sort of doesn't count, and then everything's on the line for Week 1. Jets Steelers. Are you feeling it in your body? Are you getting those butterflies or whatever other feelings are happening at this point with football right here on the precipice?
I'm already waiting. I can't wait for your post-game show tonight.
Ooh, baby. Yeah. Those have been fun. Those have been a lot of fun.
And by the way, I tuned in last week after the Saturday game. And I have to tell you, it really is terrific to be able to immediately go from the game and to hear you and other people analyzing, what they saw and that sort of stuff. It makes a big difference. And so I don't know, you've been kind of inferring things that have been holding you back from doing that. So I'm glad whatever those interferences were, that they are.
That's it.
But more importantly, to get started today, the rumor mill has, because I was taking a little nappy yesterday, that your daughter made a cameo appearance yesterday afternoon.
She did. So what I try to do is balance the two lives of all the football and then squeeze in some family in where I can. And my fiance let me know that, I don't know if this happens all across the country, but randomly in our local town here of Oswego, in a Lowe's parking lot down the street, there's this sort of traveling circus of Jurassic Park dinosaurs thing. So these animatronic dinosaur robots, and my daughter is very much into dinosaurs. So my fiance overheard this and said, hey, can we get it in? Because I do baseball games at night and jet shows throughout the day. So we're trying to find the right pocket of time where I could just get it in and then head to some of my other work. And we were able to do it. And yeah, she came over and jumped on at the end of the show and was going like, Dad, come on, man, hurry up. And I'm like, okay. Hey, do you want to say bye to everybody? Threw her up there. And I said, oh, do you want to say goodbye? And she sort of has like a whole phrase when she says goodbye. Said goodbye, kissed the microphone, and said, see you later, everybody, basically, and blew kisses. So, oh, yeah, she's a real charm, and she loved all the dinosaur stuff. So, yeah.
I don't want to delay us from talking about the great importance of the final preseason game. But
sure, right.
Our lives are running in parallel from what you told me before we went online.
That's true.
And also, my grandkids yesterday went to the Sesame Street live show in New York.
Oh, cool. Wow.
Because they are obsessed with the Sesame Street characters. So,
Naturally.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I just got to say, Bob, then somebody's doing a good job in your family of raising that. Sesame Street is important enough where that still rings for children. So that's I don't know if they're still doing stuff. I don't know, but I used to love Sesame Street when I was a kid. So that's awesome. Great parent raising happening.
On to football.
There we go. So let's get to it. So we do have the Jets-Eagles preseason finale. Again, kickoff is set for 7:30 tonight. The Jets are a 2-point favorite for those who dabble in preseason action. Why the hell wouldn't you? And it looks like the majority of the starters are not going to play, according to Aaron Glenn earlier this week. He sort of left it open that some could play. Maybe the competition battles, if any still exist, could be there. What do you make of the decision, Bob, that Aaron Glenn's not going to be playing his starters, most of them, if not all of them, in this game tonight against the Eagles?
I think he said it when he announced that, and that is the practices, which he runs pretty onerously, are his real preseason tests for his players. And that's apparently how he makes a lot of his judgments. Now you can take it, on a cup of tea when he says, well, we really see what Fields does here in practice that you guys don't see. And so we're comfortable with what he's doing and how we're trying to make that work. The only one who really needs the work is Fields, at least for the pleasure and the scrutiny of fans. But that doesn't really matter, when you're getting ready for the regular season. And I guess maybe the only one other than that you want to give a little bit more experience is our rookie right tackle. But I think he's shown enough, particularly against the Giants last week, where he held up okay, that they know everything they need to know. There are so many players on the bubble for every team. But I've often wondered, because I'm not a football technician, I didn't play even at even a high school level like you did. But they're looking for certain characteristics, and they certainly didn't see a lot of good stuff last Saturday against the Giants. So I think they're looking for vast areas of improvement from certain players tomorrow night because you got to have adequate backups. When you look at this season, the thought that occurred to me today is that people get hurt playing pickleball.
That's true.
Playing the violent game of pro football. And for 17 times during the next 4 months. So, you want to keep them healthy as best you can. And you want to keep them spirited. You want to keep them with their heads lifted up. And I think from what we've seen in preseason off the field, Aaron Glenn's doing a pretty good job of doing that. So, the one thing I wanted to look, which I will look while you keep talking, is the Jets' preseason record against the Philadelphia Eagles. Because aside from one game that I remember them winning a couple of years ago, they usually don't even beat them in preseason, much less in the regular season.
Right. Well, the regular season, for the first time ever, they beat them. They were 0-12 against the Eagles prior to the Week 6 Eagles game where Tony Adams had the pick at the end, where the Jets ended up winning that game for the first time ever against the Philadelphia Eagles. One of those weird quirks where the Jets and Eagles hadn't played that many times in the regular season. They've played every year of the preseason for a very long time.
And the first time they played them was in the preseason in 1968, and it ended up in fisticuffs with Ditka and Johnny Sample, and they both got thrown out of the game and that sort of thing. So it's always a spirited rivalry against the people from down south, south of Jersey.
Yeah, that's true. By the way, you mentioned all the injuries and things that can happen playing pickleball or football alike. We got another harsh reminder of that. The Jets' opponent for Week 1, the Pittsburgh Steelers, their first-round draft choice, Derek Harmon, the very talented defensive tackle, he had a towel draped over his head, was carted off the field, and was clutching at his knee. Now, Mike Tomlin says it's just a sprain, and when they asked him for specifics, he said, "I said it was just a sprain." And the way that happened doesn't seem like it's a sprain at all. I only play a doctor sometimes here on the show, but that just goes to show you. So now another critical loss for Pittsburgh ahead of the season opener. because he was expected to be a big piece of that squad. They have a lot of, we talked about the Jets' interior defensive line issues, and they address that this week, which we could get your take on here, Bob. But now the Steelers have lost something here, so a gut check for them. But what did you think of that? Darren Muji getting very aggressive this week, adding a couple of DTs to the room.
I actually wrote myself a couple of notes that I wanted to share with you.
Oh, please. I'm glad I asked.
So
yes.
I thought there was one negative to the whole thing.
Okay.
And other than that, I thought there were 2 or 3 real positives.
Okay.
The negative is I always have concern about picking up another team's players that they have decided are not good enough, to play for them.
Sure.
On the other hand,
mm-hmm.
and let me just clear here. Okay. Yeah. On the other hand, the kid they got from Cleveland was a 7th round pick, and we essentially gave up a 6th round pick.
Really just it's Jawan Briggs, and they give up a pick swap. So we're just going to be picking a little bit later in the draft next year.
And we had 4 6th round picks going into the season, right?
Correct. Yes.
So we traded away 2 of them this week.
Yes, the 2 that we just straight up traded away were to the Vikings, although one of those was a pick swap too because we got a 7th rounder. So really, we've only given up, if you're just talking about loss of picks, we've given up 1 6th round pick that went to the Vikings. The other 2 parts of those trades were swaps, so the Jets would just pick later in those 2 respective rounds.
Well, getting back to what to the moves.
Yes, right.
There are a couple of different ways to really look at that. First of all, I agree with you that our general manager has shown, some real resourcefulness here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that Aaron had a lot to do with it too, in trying to firm up the defense, because the offense is only going to go as far as the defense takes them.
Sure.
Here's something, I heard a lot of people give a lot of opinions, and I'm going to repeat some of it in the next couple of minutes. But one thing that no one did say is it is so critical to have an incredibly strong defense to give the offense more chances.
Yeah.
Because what we've seen in practice with the statistics that the reporters have given us is that Fields will go out there and he'll tear it up on one series. Mm-hmm. And then he'll come out for another series and do nothing and look terrible.
Yeah, sure.
So it's going to be really important to give the offense as many opportunities as we can possibly give them. So strengthen that defense. And clearly they thought, and based on last year and our woeful ability to stop runs, that they thought the defensive tackle area needed to be firmed up. What I'm really hoping for, even beyond the 2 deals that they made, is that some of the second-year undrafted free agents that they signed last year, to much hurrahs, develop significantly to the point where even they become an important part of the rotation, because they're going to need that as well. Again, if you can get hurt in pickleball, imagine being on the defensive or offensive line for 17 games. You're going to need a lot of bodies, and you want to keep them fresh too, because again, it's a season and how long you have to be on the field. So hopefully the defense is so good that they will be able to hold up, keep them in games, turn it over to the offense, maybe even on a good number of occasions, put them in good field position. So at the very least, maybe we get a field goal, because now we have an accurate field goal kicker. So that's one of the impressions. Secondly, getting back to what we got, trading 6th round picks for a guy who's going to start at defensive tackle for us, and who was starting at defensive tackle for Minnesota, and who I remember being a beast against us when he was with Buffalo a couple of years ago. You would have never gotten that type of quality, for a 6th round pick. Plus they're paying half his salary this year.
Yeah, right.
So that's, that's a real plus. And the other one, the kid from Cleveland, apparently was so good at the end of last year that a lot of people in Cleveland, and I haven't had a chance to check it out yet, but they've been wondering aloud, why'd we give this guy up? Mm-hmm. He was tearing other teams apart the last 3-4 games of last season. And unlike Major League Baseball, there is no, late point in the season when you're playing scrubs or a lot of AAA players.
Right.
So you're playing the big boys, for 17 games. And if he was really showing great improvement as the year went on, that's a plus. Now, credit to them. They've got obviously enough depth that they didn't think they needed him. But, we can make use of them. And again, hopefully that's going to strengthen us in the middle of the defensive line, that it's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. And I'll go back to your other point, right? One of your hopes is last year, a lot was made about all the undrafted free agents the Jets signed. Eric Watts, Brady McGregor, Leonard Taylor III. And LT3 showed a little bit. He had like a sack and a half last year and showed some pass rush juice. So he showed something. But Eric Watts had no meaningful statistics. Brady McGregor had no meaningful statistics. And they were on the team all year. So now we fast forward a year and they're in that group. Now that the Jets brought these two guys in, Juwan Briggs and Harrison Phillips are obviously making the roster. They're taking two spots that weren't available. So that means two other people are getting kicked out of the club. We did see Fedarian Mathis get released earlier this week, but he's not going to be the only defensive tackle that gets cut. And they have another undrafted free agent kid this year that I liked a lot coming out of the draft, Peyton Page out of Clemson, a very talented guy who didn't get a lot of opportunities at Clemson because of the depth. So is Brady McGregor, is Eric Watts, or one of these guys going to finally step up? Because a lot of people chattered about these guys, but we didn't see a whole lot of production. And I've yet to really hear their names much. Even when I was at Jets joint practice, with the Giants like a week or two ago, I didn't hear or say their name very often at all. So are they even making the roster? I think that's a big question.
Well, I think a lot of the UDFAs from last year probably will stick, and Page they'll try to get onto the practice squad.
Yeah,
because much less will be known about him.
Yeah,
and that will make it easier to sneak him through waivers. The other guys had some exposure. They have an experience from last year, and they also have draft designations from a couple of years ago, which again is one of the reasons why the Jets made the trade with Cleveland, because as I think you pointed out yesterday, or someone else did, but I'll give you the credit for it.
Sure, yeah.
Great. Why not?
I probably said it.
All this again. There were a lot of scouting reports and a lot of anticipation of how he was going to go in the draft a year ago. So there were a lot of people who still looked at it and said, we could have drafted that kid last year, and if nothing else, let's pick him up on waivers, on the cut down day. And if we don't think he's anything, we'll just release him. It won't cost us anything.
Yeah.
So no, I think they're in good. I think they're in good shape. We know they're much better again on the defensive side than the offensive side. I would like to see them strengthen their linebacker core a little bit, and you can never have enough good corners and safeties again, because those are also high injury positions between the tackling and all the leg and knee and other injuries because of all the running they have to do. So anyway.
No, that is true. So I would like some reinforced depth at a couple of those positions. One position, apparently, they've been kicking the tires on, Bob, and this is not new. Me and you have talked about this many a Fridays. You know where I'm going.
Indy and I went at it back and forth 3 months ago, or however long it was. Yeah,
you did, and apparently the Jets agree with you, Bob, and not Indy, about the need for another wide receiver. NFL insider extraordinaire Diana Rossini shared a couple of days ago that the Jets were among several teams that were interested in exploring and making calls for wide receivers that are available via trade. And Tom Pelissero reiterated that last night on the Rich Eisen show. He mentioned it again, that the Jets continue to explore that market. Obviously, that's not surprising because Garrett Wilson's really good, but the Jets' search for a guy opposite of him has been challenging, apparently, throughout this offseason. So what do you make of the Jets apparently being aggressive in these waters? If it's not a trade, it'll certainly, I imagine, be in whatever today is. Today's Friday, so it would be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So Tuesday's cut down day, and Wednesday, the next day by noon, is waiver wire. So in between that Tuesday, Wednesday action, I imagine that's where they will also be aggressively filtering through all the 1,000+ roster cuts in the National Football League to see if there's a receiver worth a damn to add to the squad.
Well, it's a couple of things here. First of all, everybody was saying, oh, San Francisco has a surplus. Green Bay has a surplus. And then San Francisco went out and made a deal with Kansas City to get a wide receiver.
Yeah, right.
So I don't think their surplus is that great. There were experts galore yesterday who were talking about this with you. And clearly, there are names out there. Some of them have blemishes, like Olave, who apparently might be one concussion away from not being able to play anymore.
I agree.
At least that's a fear.
Yeah, right.
I think they'll pick up somebody off the waiver wire if they can get him past the 6 teams that have first dibs on those guys.
Correct.
And that's the other problem. And that's why they made the trade with Cleveland.
Yes.
I don't know how desperate those 6 teams are, for wide receivers. I can't see them really giving up a high draft pick. And by that, I mean anything higher than a 5, for a wide receiver, because I don't think the quality is going to make that much difference. Again, they didn't get any defensive tackles in the draft. They went out and made a couple of trades. They got a wide receiver, in the draft, but Arian Smith has a lot of assets, and he's also got a lot of greenishness. Mm-hmm. So, they're going to have to put up with him learning the NFL ways and hoping that he can make a couple of big plays here and there. So I don't really expect very much to happen unless there's a shocker. Here's another thought about it. Minnesota needs a wide receiver.
Yes.
If they make someone available, Green Bay is going to try. Excuse me, I'm getting it wrong. Green Bay has a surplus, supposedly.
Yes.
Minnesota needs a wide receiver.
Yes.
Green Bay is going to do everything they can to stop Minnesota from getting that wide receiver that they think they need.
I'd imagine so.
Yeah. So that may put the Jets in a better position among the teams that are vying to get that extra wide.
Good point. It is a good point. Yeah. Because
so that's a possibility. The kid in Indianapolis, he's too high a draft pick from a year ago for them to just let him go for very little.
Yes.
Washington is not going to give up McLaurin,
probably not,
for a bag of potatoes. So most of the guys that have been mentioned are going to have a pretty high price tag on them, and so we'll have to see. But I hate to keep bringing up things that remind me of things I wrote about in Beyond Broadway Joe.
Wait, can you bring that book up again? What is this book again?
It's called Beyond Somebody or Other.
Okay, wait, let me bring this full screen here. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to see. Beyond Broadway Joe, the Super Bowl team that changed football. Wait, can you lift the book a little bit higher? Oh, Bob Lederer. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Interesting guy, yeah.
Is this available for purchase, Bob? What's the deal?
I hear he spent 3 years researching this thing.
Oh, wow. That's impressive. So, is that book available real quick, Bob? Where?
Amazon and any of your favorite online bookstores.
Okay, cool.
That's the rumor.
Okay.
I heard that from your daughter yesterday.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, she's a trustworthy source. So, yeah.
But before the 68-69 season, the Jets did something they had never done before, and that is they made trades for 2 very, very critical players. Bob Telomini for the offensive line because they were a little thin there, and they got Babe Hurley from Boston to back up Joe because they'd never had a veteran quarterback backing them up. And speaking of backup quarterbacks, and I'm gritting my teeth as I watch this every day now. How much was Jackson Dart being talked about?
Oh, good Lord.
About a potential Jet pick in January, February.
Do you remember the narrative from that, Bob? So, okay, people were talking about Jackson Dart to the Jets. Do you remember how Jets fans reacted to that?
And they went, who needs him?
100% did that. And people, and even when the rumors got a little bit hot right before the draft, one of his coaches at Ole Miss, and also that have some influence or something, joined Rich Samini on his podcast. They talked about it. They talked about how much the Jets were fitting things, and Jet fans booed those rumors. They said, oh, disgusting. We don't want anything to do with this Jackson Dart fella. And, well, he looks pretty good.
Well, in their defense, and we have to defend other Jet fans.
Of course.
I think they were afraid at picking him number 7.
Probably.
And if they had done that, forget about Membu and how much he was needed. If they had done that, there would have been a riot in and around MetLife by Jet fans, not by Giant fans, because he just wasn't rated that highly. But the Giants did what the Jets did a couple of years ago with Jermaine Johnson. They traded up into the first round. Yeah. With the kid. And, you do have to, as a Jet fan, as much as I do not like the Giants, you have to give, Jackson Dart his his credit, because look at the kind of throws he's making, and look at kind of the poise he seems to have, and even more importantly, and this very, very important, he seems to have won over a lot of the you better learn to slide.
Because he got whacked like a pinata yesterday. So young man.
I think Fields is the master at that. Maybe he has a little extra time and he can go over and
perhaps
teach him how to do it.
Good
but
Lord.
Anyway, Jackson Dart seems to have won over his teammates. They are really coming around and supporting him and saying all the good things about him. And it doesn't sound like it's just being nice about him. It sounds like they really believe in what the kid can do. So between the two veteran quarterbacks he's got over there, I think he's going to learn a lot. And when he does get his chance, and it probably won't be the smoothest transition, but I think, they could have another Eli Manning situation.
And wouldn't that be a wonderful thing to have if you're the New York Giants? Again, we're speaking with our Jets historian, Bob Lederer, here on Boy Green Daily. It's a game day episode. We have Jets-Eagles tonight at 7:30. We'll open up the phone lines here in just a moment. But here's why I think, Bob, you're right. We're talking about wide receivers, right? And Jet fans are salivating over the sexy names that are out there. And we've mentioned a lot of them. Jameson Williams, Chris Olave, this name. But I think you're right at the end of the day. The Jets are not going to expend a high draft choice, because as much as I believe in Justin Fields and the Jets say they believe in Justin Fields, what the Jets have is an alternative option with one of their high draft choices by not trading it. It's the back door. If Justin Fields flops like a pancake, then the Jets have that first round pick next year to say, hey, we could go get our own guy if this doesn't work out. So and if it does work out, Justin Fields is the guy, great. We could use that first round pick on something to help Justin Fields. So I think they're going to cryogenically freeze that choice and maybe a few of their other choices, like their second round draft choice, and sort of hold that serve just in case they need it for some sort of a quarterback backup plan. And I don't mean quarterback backup plan like a QB2, which also they should probably look into, and we could talk about that here on the show with Tyrod Taylor's health, but no, specifically to Justin Fields. I think they're going to go all in on Justin Fields. They're going to give him the longest leash of all time in 2025. And if it fails, then they'll make other decisions during the 2026 offseason. That's what my gut says, which, again, to your point, is why I believe you're right, that they probably will not expend one of those high draft choices to get a pass catcher, regardless of the sexy scenario that presents itself.
Let me ask you what you think about QB3.
Yeah.
We'll see more tonight and have a better idea.
Yeah.
But I think we've seen enough to know whether, those two guys are going to be good enough, to be the guy who has to step in, because Tyrod looks, very, very iffy, every day that he doesn't come back and they don't say, yeah, he'll be ready to go week one. Because if he's not ready to go week one, chances are he may not be ready to go week 2 or week 3. So you've got to have a reliable, backup plan. Although maybe they don't. Maybe they really don't, as I think about it. Because if the plan is to go run heavy with your starting quarterback, if your starting quarterback gets hurt and you bring in your second, your third string, they're going to continue to go run heavy until the other team stops them. In fact, that's really, and we'll talk next week, obviously, and the week after about how the season looks. But what's going to happen? This is my big question.
Okay.
What's going to happen when the other teams decide, okay, they're just going to run and run and run, and we're going to stack the box and force them to throw. So we'll see. We'll get a good, but I wonder, because I was watching the Giants' 4th string quarterback, who you kind of like.
I do.
From New Jersey last night, and wondering, because he does look like he's got poise. I watched when he was in there, and he's got a decent enough arm.
Yeah.
And he's got, a couple of years of experience now.
He does.
So, but I got a feeling that the Giants are going to keep 4 quarterbacks.
Ooh, okay.
And hold him just in case some other team gets desperate enough that they're willing to give him some decent draft capital for him. So we'll see.
And here it is. Here's the autograph football of Tommy DeVito. Look at that. TD 13.
13, yeah.
That was his jersey number here at Syracuse. And again, I covered him here at Syracuse, and then he transferred for his final season to Illinois. And I ran before COVID. I ran a charity event every April in the draft where I would go to some restaurant or place and I would host a live show talking about the draft and Jets and anything else I wanted to talk about. And what I tried to use is my connections in the sports world to give me autographed items or other cool items to donate, and 100% of the proceeds would go to the Wounded Warrior Project. So I knew a couple guys on the Syracuse football team. I said, hey, can you get me a couple autographs? Like, here's one, for example, Tommy DeVito. I imagine that would rev vengeance here locally. Can you get him to sign a ball or something? They said, sure, I'll get it for you. And they give me this football. I'm like, oh, phenomenal. Terrific. So we start off the charity with a online auction to start to show people what items are going to be up for bids. And I show this ball. I'm like, Tommy DeVito autograph football, baby. Now, folks, this is pre-NIL. NIL does not exist yet. I get a lovely email from Syracuse University saying, hey, buddy, take that football off immediately. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is for charity. They said, if you don't take that football off, Tommy DeVito, and for folks who don't understand, Tommy DeVito was a prized recruit for Syracuse. He was championed as the savior. And they said, if you don't take this football down, you may make Tommy DeVito ineligible to play football at Syracuse. And I went, oh, Jesus. Okay, no problem. My apologies. Didn't mean to get, torches and pitchforks outside my house because somehow for a charity event, I made your star quarterback ineligible. My fault. I'll take it down. Now, to Syracuse's credit, they said basically keep this football forever and never do anything with it. So now it just sits here on my desk. But thankful to Syracuse that, in a very harmless situation, which was all for charity, they ended up saying, hey, we'll get the head coach at the time, Dino Babers. He'll sign a football and I will express mail it to you right now. And
if by some chance the Jets pick him up this week, you can make him part of the bid. That you're trying to raise for your dad.
100%, man. Wouldn't that hit up like nobody's business to have that story in this football? That would be incredible.
It reminds me, and it's only slightly related. But when I was a kid, and I used to watch the muscular dystrophy telethons with Jerry Lewis and whatever, and he would encourage you to do some local stuff. So my twin brother and I was probably 12 or 13, we decided we would have some sort of a fundraiser for them, and there was a little local baseball field that we held it at. And I asked I asked the Mets and the Yankees to send me something that I could give away as a raffle or whatever.
Yeah.
And the Yankees sent me personally autographed pictures of Mantle, Maris, Elston Howard, Whitey Ford.
Wow.
Okay. And I took one look at that. I looked at my twin brother and I said, we're not raffling this stuff off. This stuff is great. And so I still have it. It's a prized possession sort.
Beautiful.
But it's sometimes, well, you're an adult, so you're in a better position not to be, avaricious about it. But anyway,
Wait a second. Bob, you have a twin brother?
Yes, I have a twin brother.
Well, how has that not come up on the show? What in the world?
He doesn't look. Hey, he looks more like you than he looks like me.
Okay, so you guys don't look exactly the same.
No, we're fraternal. He's my elder by 11 minutes.
Okay, wow, that's man, what a bomb drop, Bob. What's your twin brother's name?
Philip.
Oh, okay. I was seeing if it was like Bobby or Robert or like.
I went by Bobby, and he was just Philip. Okay. Everybody else in my family, Margie, Susie.
Okay. Oh, I see.
And David, and my brother Philip lives in Rochester,
New York. Oh my God! He's right around the corner from me. That's
he's a retired professor at the University of Rochester.
Wow! Wow! Esteemed brother. Wow! That's terrific. Okay, I like that. Wow. Yeah. So, Bob, every time we do a show with you, every week we learn a little bit more. We take another layer off that onion. It's been a fascinating journey these last couple of months.
Anyway.
Yes. All right, everybody, let's do this. Let's open up the phone line so we can ask more pressing questions about Bob's family history. And God knows what else could possibly come up. Your phone call's next.
Boy Green Daily, talking Jets football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. J-E-T-S, Jets. Let's go.
The phone lines are open, baby. This is Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. My name is Paul Leston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. We right now, at this very moment in time, have 230 people in the room. 100 of those are on YouTube. That's youtube.com/BoyGreen25. Appreciate those who watch the show anywhere, let alone here on YouTube. And wait a second here, 33 likes, 100 people in the room. What in tarnation? People, hit the gosh darn like button, for God's sake. What the hell are you doing it there? You're holding out likes on me? Huh? What is it, the economy? Let's get some likes going, for the love of everything that's holy. Hit the like button. It's free to do. It's right there on the screen. Yeah, you watching the show? I'm talking to you. Like the video, whether it's live or after the fact. Come on, man. We got a first come on, man, of the season. Come on, man. Anywho, our wonderful co-host on today's show, Bob Lederer, is with us here, the author of Beyond Broadway Joe, the team that changed football forever, and the guy that changed phone calls forever on this show. Hep joined us here on the program. What's up, Hep?
Hey, Bob. Hey, Paul. Hey, fellas. How's it going?
Good morning, Hep.
Excellent.
Good.
Good morning.
Hep, how's that video for my 100th appearance coming along?
Oh, I mean, it's not. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to wait 100. As soon as the Jets clinch the playoff spot, I'm going to sing that song.
Okay. There you go.
You know?
All right.
And that's going to be this year. I'm not going to wait.
I'm just going to keep asking, because if you don't ask, you don't get.
Well, I'm always locked and loaded, so anytime, Bob, it doesn't matter.
By the way, how's the Hep father doing?
The Hep father. Oh yeah. Well, I had a lot of the heavy hitters hitting yesterday, so the Hep father had to make an appearance.
That made sense.
Make sure the people got paid who do the job. You do the job, you should get paid.
Amen. Yes.
By the way, everybody out there, I'm going to stop talking about my family. That's why you're not hitting the like button.
That must be it, I guess. I don't know.
No,
So
now what happens is sometimes people are watching it on their TV, YouTube, and that doesn't enable you to hit the like button.
Oh, yeah, you got to sprint over to something, right? Yeah.
That's true. That's what I do. That's what I do when I'm not on the show. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So that won't. So what I do is sometimes what I'll do is I'll put you on and knock the volume out on the TV, and then I'll have connection to the show through my phone. So that's
smart.
one way to do it. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Now, back to the Matt Snell thing. I'm still on that.
Please. I hope everyone continues to be on it.
I have thoughts about that too for you. Go ahead.
All right.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking of another strategy.
Okay.
Is there any way we get a case of books delivered to Florham Park?
Oh.
Leave them there for any Jet player to pick up, but I would really like to have AG get a copy of that book. Not that he's going to have a hell of a lot of time to read it
right now. Right.
Yeah.
But I think AG might not even know a lot of these stories already. I mean, he's a Jet through and through. But there was stuff I didn't know in that book. I'm sure there's stuff he didn't know. And I'm an old timer. I've been watching. I was a Jet fan in '68. That's when I was sitting down with my dad. That's when I started.
How old were you in '68?
I was 5 years old.
That's old enough.
Yeah. It was more like I was like, which team is which, Dad? He goes, oh, that's this team. And I go, I want to root for that team. And that's how it started.
And here we are. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll try to get those books into the hands of those guys. And
Makes sense.
Well, I got to tell you, I sent Woody 2 copies separately on 2 different occasions and talked to his secretary each time to make sure that he'd received it. And she told me they had gotten it. And she wouldn't even commit to me that she'd given it to Woody. That, she hadn't made that decision.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. The other thing is Kyle Clifton, the guy that comes on our show sometimes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course.
Kyle's there. I hope he calls in. Is Kyle, is he actually the Kyle Clifton that played for the New York Jets?
No.
Well, of course he is.
No.
He's not, or he is?
He
I don't know.
absolutely is. What are we talking about? Yeah, Kyle Clifton.
The first question I
Yeah.
asked him when he came on the show the first time, are you the guy that
He was shy. He was shy.
He's shy.
Obviously, to
Hey,
talk
He was about
his
200
past.
pounds ago.
The
Okay,
guy
yeah, he
is
lost weight.
huge. I mean, he could definitely be it.
He could be.
Yeah, I saw him I saw him with Jake Asman. Jake Asman looked like a ventriloquist dummy.
like I said, I have some thoughts as to what in fact, I shared some of them with Paul earlier this week. There is a letter that has been composed by a couple of other fans, and
Yes. Yep.
my reaction after I look at it was nice try.
Mm.
Not enough smooching.
Okay.
You got to smooch up to this guy,
Right,
as we see every day with a certain person who I will not mention. Praise will get you very far if you keep laying it on and laying it on and laying it on. And Woody is going to have to be impressed on the fact that he would be a hero to the Jets faithful. You got
And he would be.
lay it on, because that's the only thing that's really going to make him want to do something about it. I've said this before. When I sat down and talked to them and tried to help them to get Matt to the 50th anniversary celebration, don't need your help, got it all underway. We're going to make it easy for Matt to walk in through the front door. And I said, that's the
It's not going to happen.
Not walking in through the front door. You've got to go to him.
Got to go get him.
He feels so what's the word? He feels like he has not been treated properly.
Right.
And Woody has to be told, Woody, you're a great guy. We love you.
You're smart.
And
You're
you
good
could
looking.
be a hero that the other owners over the years have never been. You can make the grand gesture, and you can decide what that grand gesture is and how big it should be. Okay. And when Matt does commit and come into the stadium, he's, you're going to get all the credit.
Yeah.
And by the way, that brings up a second point. If you want to get Joe involved, great. Get him involved behind the scenes. Matt does not want to walk on the field with Joe Namath.
Gotcha.
Not because he doesn't like Joe Namath, but because his attitude will be, wait a minute, are we doing this all again? Who's being honored here?
Right, exactly.
Me and him?
Who you clapping
me?
for? Yeah, who you clapping for? Me or Joe? Right.
Yeah, right. And I could understand. And now that I've heard from you, Bob, about it, and Indy called last week about it, the more I think about it, I totally understand. Because, like, if Matt Snell finally gets his moment in the sun, and Joe Namath's like, "You're welcome, guy," like it was him that decided just randomly, however many years later, to gift him the spotlight and everything that he wanted, like the attention, the to right the wrong. I mean, that obviously exists here between Snell and Jets. Yeah, I think that would hit a different way. Now, I would say this to what you just said, Bob, that like Woody needs to be this champion in this world for it to exist. I will tell you this. I just recently heard a story from somebody that said they hate when people who donate to charity have to call out cameras and other attention to it because they want the pat on the back. And I say, sure, if you want to hate that random person, I won't name his name. If you want to say that, that's fine. You know what? It's good to me is the end of the day, the result is good. So if someone wants the credit for charity or doesn't want the credit for charity, sure, we can all whisper and go, he probably should have just done it for the sake of doing it. But at the end of the day, if the charity is happening, I don't give a crap if you want all the cameras in the world or not. So to transition that to this Woody story, if Woody wants to, I will build Woody a statue. I don't give a, we can handsome, filthy, rich, hot wife. I'll tell him whatever he wants to hear as long as it results in the thing that we're all looking for.
Woody could be the master of ceremonies that day.
Works for me. Whatever he wants, because he's
or
the boss.
He could be that Wizard of Oz behind the screen that
That's
everyone
unlikely.
knows is there, but you don't have to show him.
I'm sure he would want to be showed, but that's But again, it works for me as long as we could get it to Matt Snell. So Hep, first off, for you and everyone else that's listening, the Matt Snell story won't die if you guys don't let it die. So if we keep talking about it, keep doing it, it's going to help. And then one more nugget, because Bob said it about the letter. Nice try to the people. So Scotty and Foxy and a few others that were working on the letter.
And a credit to them for spending the time to put that together.
Yes, but what I would say is this. I will put you guys in touch with Bob, and let's all be on the same page. We're all on the same team. I want the letter to be accurate. I want the letter, to Bob's point, I love his influence. 100 exactly. Yeah. I don't want wasted time. And obviously, great effort by Scotty and Foxy. They even put it together in the first place. But if we want to be a team and make sure it's tactful and everything is written out appropriately and sent to the right people and go viral on social media, like that first one sort of did, like, great. But let's just all be on the same page and write it the way it should be. That's what I'm excited about to see, because if we execute it appropriately, it's already created a little bit of buzz. People asking, whoa, what's going on with this? Not just some. There's a lot of people that have no idea that there's a beef between Matt Snell and the Jets. And every day that we talk about it, every week that we talk about it on this show, more and more people join the cause. So that's very important.
Bob, I did tell Jake Asman I called the show and I explained the Matt
Snell thing. What was his reaction?
He didn't know. I gave him the 411 on that, and he goes, "Oh, I know Bob." He goes, "I tried to get him on the show, and something came up with it was something big news happened at the time where you were supposed to come on."
Yeah, Jake, I give Jake credit. Jake actually had me on his show when he was in Houston.
Oh, wow. Oh, yes.
So, because he's, I didn't realize it because he was a Jet fan. I just thought, well, there's somebody who recognizes what this book is about, but obviously he's a big Jet fan.
Yeah,
of course.
And so he had me on. I even have the tape of it. It's 15, 20 minutes. I appreciated it. Yeah. I don't want to tell you what to do, what's going to work. Go back to him and say, hey, have you given it any more thought, Jake?
Let's get a rewrite. Let's get him back on.
Jake obviously has tremendous pull.
Of course.
And I don't know the other guys at all who do the podcast, although I do listen to them. And some of them are really good. And again, I think Rich Eisen is a guy who could really carry the torch.
Yeah, he's the guy.
Because not only does he have his own show, but now he's doing ESPN again.
Correct.
And I think he could be the kind of guy that could turn the whole story into a little feature.
Yeah, he does an interview with him. Does an interview with Woody Johnson and says, "Oh, by the way, Woody, there's a movement going on."
Or even just a 90-second or 2-minute little featurette that he could bring on about, hey, here's something that nobody really knows about, and you just show. Remember Matt Snell, who did all this amazing stuff in Super Bowl III, and he and the Jets, rah rah rah. Do you know that Matt Snell hasn't talked to the Jets in 60 years?
Let's bring him home.
And it's been unearthed. Listen, I went out and tried to get people to read my book in 2018 under the premise that you want to find out why Matt is upset at the Jets. It's right here. It's right here in this book. And that didn't really light a fire. And again, it goes, I think, to a lot of present day fans don't give a hoot about what happened. I mean, they love the fact that the Jets did win a Super Bowl way back when, before they were hatched. But, it's like yesterday's news. And again, I've said this before. And in Green Bay, they don't really care who the hell Vince Lombardi was.
That's crazy. My dream is this. The running backs, Matt Snell's there, and the running back room walks out to the middle of the field with them. And they all sit there, and the place just goes ape shit for them,
Yeah.
Well, that's what I told him when I had dinner with him. As dinner broke up, I said, Matt, I'd like you to have that day where 78,000 people stand up and give you the ovation that you deserve for what you did that day, in addition to your career, because it would be a fitting tribute to you, and you deserve it.
Yeah. Thanks, fellas.
And real quick, Cap, I'll just say this, that Rich Eisen has a national show that's live 3 hours a day. It's 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern time, and he has phone lines that are open. I've called this show multiple times. So people, if one of you is articulate enough about this Matt Snell situation, I'm sort of running around with a lot of the things I've got going on, so I haven't been able to call in recently. But his phone lines are open, and if you explain, try to encapsulate it, because you'll probably only have a few minutes to talk to him, but if you can encapsulate this Matt Snell story and it piques his interest, that's all it's going to take. Again, he's on 3 hours a day live, Monday through Friday, and in about 2 or 3 weeks, he transitions over to ESPN Radio, where his impact will be even greater than it's ever been. So, and
he wears his Jet fandom not on his sleeve; it's on his forehead.
Yeah, he
100% every day.
He talks about it. He talks about it. I mean, if they cut a player that he likes, he talks about it.
Yeah. Him and Greeny would probably sit together in the stadium.
I imagine so, which would be great. Hep, thank you so much, brother. Appreciate it.
Have a good one, weekend.
Yeah, there we go. Excellent. Guys, keep the phone calls coming. We have 250 people in the room. It's a Friday, which means Philly Noodles time. What's up, Philly?
What's going on? How you guys doing? Good
Hey,
morning.
Philly.
Yeah, and also
Good
a
morning.
shout out.
What
We
do
got a
you
couple of
expect?
fantasy
Philly,
drafts.
what do you
Yeah.
expect tonight?
Yeah, what do you expect?
I'd really like to see first off, I've been saying that Gibson's the only wide receiver I'd let survive. Let Skinner, let Pritchett hit the practice squad. Skinner's been showing up at practices, but I would just get him on the practice squad. Let's stop playing games. Let's get a concrete answer to who we need. I would like to see what's going to happen with McCorley, Malachi Corley.
Yes.
Could they trade him? Could they dangle him? Maybe get a 6 for him? Compensate back a 6 or something. Somebody might.
You don't think he's shown enough to be one of the extra DBs?
Bob, see, that was a great joke, and I don't know if this is you or your brother Philip. Who we talking to? I'm Philip. I'm a Philip. So this is a Philip to a Philip here.
That's a good point. So,
Okay, I'm back.
I'll just tell you this, Phil. I was listening to Zach Rosenblatt yesterday on their Flight Plan podcast, and he said, I don't think there's anything that Malachi Corley could do in this game, anything that will save him, basically. So, his story is written, he believes. So, which cut down day on Tuesday, I'm getting creative. I do player-for-player swaps. Is there someone else on your team at a key position?
Yeah, you know what? That's not an unlikely situation, because to admit that you completely whiffed on that draft pick, is a real bad thing.
I'm admitting it. I liked him. I whiffed. Yeah, me and Joe Douglas alike whiffed. It is what the RAS score. That's all it's about. RAS score, baby.
Yeah,
if they're athletic enough, it don't matter. A couple of things here. First off, Kyle Clifton is the Kyle Clifton. He's legit.
There he is. I knew it.
It's Kyle Clifton. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Maybe that's a better look of him. But look, so I ordered his cards, and I had this in mind that to call every show.
Wait, here you go. Let me give you a full screen. Try it one more time.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
So I had this idea. I had ran an idea on the Asman show that everybody thought was a little wild. I was burning things in lieu of trying to hope we can get wins. Call it voodoo, call it whatever you like. But I was looking for obtaining any Kyle Clifton card that's going to have an opponent on the schedule that I would list that card as like a showcase card for that week.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Look who this came from in an eBay. Is that not Kyle now?
Oh, that's 100% Kyle.
Is he like? Is he just a hobby for me? You know what I mean? Because he's just bored at home.
It's the Spider-Man meme. Those are the same people.
It's the same person. Right?
It's the same person. Yeah.
I would, and real quick about the wide receiver move again. I've been championing going to the Packers and saying, let me get either Dontavian Wicks or Dobbs. Dobbs would cost more, but he had that stretch of 4 games where he wasn't playing, and it was like some mental situation.
Yeah.
To me, it felt like he was mad at the Packers, and now you can be even more mad, maybe, because look at the situation. You brought in Matt Golden as a first-round pick.
Look what happened with the last guy we took, who was mad at the Packers.
Well, that's true. But to your point, Philly, and isn't this great, right? Like normally you go to a team and say, "Damn it, Lions, I want Jameson Williams." They're like, I don't know. We go to the Packers and say, any of them, this guy, or maybe even this guy. Like they've got 4 or 5 guys all in that room. Anyone basically not named Matthew Golden, because obviously they're not trading him. He was a first-round pick, but anyone else, maybe.
I mean, Jaden Reed would be a gadget player. I don't think they're letting him go. I think the problem is they realize how fragile all these players are nowadays in football. So they're like, all right, well, if we stock like Wicks, if we don't get rid of him, when Christian Watson inevitably tweaks an ankle, boom, we got Dontavian Wicks, and they're about the comparable, not the same height, but the build is kind of similar. So I think that's why they've kept him as long as they have. But I'd like to see something happen. Like we've said, everybody said, no, McLaurin's not happening. That's sick. We're not giving up no draft capital that high. That's absolutely insane. Yeah, and Bob, to your credit, 1,000%, they have to keep some money in the bank for next year. They're not getting rid of a 1 or a 2. That's just not happening.
No, because they're going to obviously have needs that they need to fill. Yeah. And, like it was one of the things people speculated yesterday, they may need to get that defensive tackle next year,
Actually, it's not about it. Well, Harrison's on for 1 more year. Nadi's just the 1 year. Yeah, You'll really add Williams again, and then just whoever's left over. Yeah, a lot of the contracts were 1-year contracts. Reynolds, Cisco. I wish they would have signed Justin Simmons. That's just me.
Yeah, he's still a free agent, right?
I don't think so. I think he got picked up.
Yeah, let me see.
I think he's been picked up.
Philly, do you think you got enough depth at linebacker?
I've been saying that for 3 years straight. They should have drafted Peyton Wilson last year from North Carolina State. He had like the craziest college season last year. They should have picked him up. I was championing that. I've been championing them grabbing another linebacker for years.
Yeah, by the way, Justin Simmons is still a free agent. No one has signed Justin Simmons yet.
I would have picked up. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's a red flag with his medicals, but
maybe
I would have picked up Justin. I would have picked him up already.
I just think that you have to have depth at every position.
Yeah,
the season's too long. You can't expect your best, most athletic, and youngest player to still make it through 17 games.
Yeah, and then the linebacker. Yeah, I mean we've been plagued with linebacker problems for a while since Bart Scott and
David Harris.
We've whiffed. Yeah, we've whiffed on a lot of ones out of the draft. But the past few years, linebackers have gone subtly underneath in the middle of the draft, second rounds, and I thought we were going to scoop somebody up last year. We didn't. It is what it is, especially with Saleh knowing the linebacker room. That's why he flipped Sherwood right from safety to linebacker.
That was a good move.
That was his move, which was it panned out years later. If you want an immediate effect, you just got to spend a little bit. You know what I mean? Look at or you can be like the Eagles and get a Zach Bond dropped from another team. That's something else. I don't know how you do that, but hopefully we figure it out. And to you guys, a good day.
I appreciate it.
A good weekend.
There he is, Philly Noodles, joining us here on the show. We got a lot of callers. We'll get to all of you guys here on the show. It's a game day episode. Again, Jets Eagles. That's about 11-ish hours away from kickoff. We're about 11 hours away. We'll keep you guys posted.
Is that what? That's 7 Eastern. The game starts tonight.
I believe 7:30. I believe is what I have here on my bingo card. So yeah, 7:30 kickoff tonight, Eastern time. So there you go. NY Jets FL. You're on the show. What's up, Ted? You're on. Yeah, you're on some level of mute. Not on our side, but on your side somewhere. Yeah. Okay. He's thumbing the screen.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right. I was on Bluetooth. Good morning, gentlemen. Great conversation, actually.
Thank you.
There's too much hate, I think, for Justin Fields. I wouldn't say, well, maybe not quite hate, but like this disdain about the fact that we're trying him out as a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson Dart, can we stop with that already? I mean, Brady looks good against third stringers, but please. About the overall philosophy of the team.
Yeah.
When that reporter asked Aaron Glenn about it's a passing league.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
It just kind of opened things up for me even more because I went and looked up Jalen Hurts' stats. Yeah, I'm not going to compare. I'm not going to direct compare the two, but the Eagles have a lot more talent than we do, probably on both sides.
Definitely.
But, Jalen Hurts, 2,900 yards, 18 touchdowns passing, 5 picks. Of course, Saquon had his 350 carries and 2,000 yards. Yeah, but the key to the Jets season is time of possession. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't care who runs the ball. You can give it to any of these guys. You can short pass the death out of teams. You can hide your deficiencies on both offense and defense. You keep that clock running, and your special teams can keep you in the game. We had how many turnovers did we have last year? I bet you we were down at the bottom.
Yeah,
I didn't even look that up. I mean, obviously there were hardly any interceptions. Quite,
Oh, you're talking about creating. Sacks. You're talking about creating takeaways or giving.
Yeah,
away?
I'm sorry. Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah. Oh, okay. We couldn't turn any team over. It's just, I think the combination of all of those is going to make us very competitive. I really do.
Yeah, let's see. The Jets had 17 takeaways last season. That was ranked 32, 31, 30, 29, 28. That was 27th in the league in takeaways. So awful. They were not good in that department.
I don't think you can argue against what Aaron Glenn said about it not being a passing league, just based on what Philly was able to accomplish last year with a lowly ranked passing game. Although to compare their quarterback and the situation with Justin Fields doesn't give Philly enough credit. But I sent an article to Paul earlier this week, and I threatened that if he didn't bring it up, that I was going to bring it up. And it talks about Michael Nania wrote it.
Yeah,
and
I love that guy. Yeah,
and it talks about over the past 4 seasons, 9 teams have finished top 10 in rushing and bottom 16 in passing. Here are those teams along with their finish overall.
Okay,
24 Colts, 10th run, 22nd pass, 20th overall. Let me go to ones that were up near the top in running. 22 Packers, 4th in running attack, 18th in passing attack. Their offense was 12th overall. In the end, it comes down to more than just, what you can do with running and passing. And to me, it's that defense. The best example to me was the Baltimore Ravens when they won the Super Bowl. Their offense, although their offense really was just running the ball and telling their quarterback not to make a mistake.
Which version are you talking about? 2000 or the Joe Flacco year?
No, we're talking about 2000.
Okay, against the Giants.
Because their defense was overwhelming. I mean, other than the 85 Bears, who being in Chicago at the time, I was just amazed at how good they were defensively. That Baltimore defense was the best overwhelming defense I've ever seen. And yet, if you have the defense who can not only stop the other team, but as you just brought up, force turnovers. And I think that's part of Glenn's, plan as well, that he really wants his guys to get them to help turn the ball over, to give the offense more chances, and to put the Jets in good field position. Again, that reminded me, based on this book that I wrote, the 68
What
Jets.
book was that again?
I think it's called Beyond something or other. But anyway, that season, when Namath got them in trouble by throwing interception after interception, they kind of put him in a cocoon for about 5 games and said, Joe, just manage the offense. We'll take it from there. And Snell and Boozer and Mathis went to town, and Billy Joe did too. And they won 4 or 5 games in a row, straight offensive, running attack. And Jim Turner went nuts with field goals. And they would win games by 9 points instead of what Joe wanted, which was by 19 points. But the fact of the matter was the defense was so good, and it wasn't, again, nothing like the Bears, nothing like the Ravens, but they were really good, and they were number 1 ranked defense in the league that last year. In fact, I was surprised when I read that our defense last year ended up 3rd.
Technically,
I think in the AFC. That surprised me. So imagine if we have a defense that can pretty much corral the run, so that you can't just run down the field against us. You have to really work to get down the field. Our corners look good. Our safeties look better than they have been. I like our starting linebackers, and now we have a defensive line that is more complete, with really good rushing attacks, from the outside, and even with Quinn Williams on the inside, and a little bit more sturdiness against the run. So, as I said at the very start today, give the offense more chances. And then the offense, if they keep running the ball, you're not going to be as susceptible to turning the ball over that way. So we'll see.
It's one more point. It's funny when you mentioned a cocoon, I just immediately went to Josh Allen, and when they hired Joe Brady, when Josh Allen was reckless, and turning the ball over like crazy, they brought in somebody to harness him, cocoon him. Mm-hmm. So sometimes over aggression can be a negative, and having that much talent and think you can be, you're a great player, but one player always doesn't win the game. In certain points that you have to, like Mahomes or any of these great quarterbacks. So anyway, great conversation. I know you have a lot of callers, Paul.
Hey, how hot's the weather down? I assume you are in Florida.
I'm near Tampa. It's 96 every day. It's pretty rough this time of year.
Is it? It's humid down there too. I know Miami and such is unbelievable.
As soon as you go outside, there's gnats in your face. That it can get any more humid than that. But you know what? In the middle of October is when it really is beautiful.
Okay,
that's when
it
gets real nice.
You hold out all year for that. Well, hopefully it's pretty good.
That's kind of how it is. It's like our summer's your winter. That's kind of how it is.
Yeah, and your winter is our summer.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. But I'll never give up my fandom. So you all have a nice day. Great talking to you.
You too.
All right. Thank you so much, Ted. Now, I'll also say Ted brought it up. I love that AG is just so well read, right? So a guy goes, obviously, the media reporter, this happened earlier this week, obviously it's a passing league. And AG cuts him off, goes, what do you mean it's a passing league? The media reporter goes, isn't it a passing league? And he's like, hey, who won the Super Bowl last year? Philadelphia Eagles. Number 1 in the run, 29th in the pass. He's just ready with stats. He's well read. He's just
Well, he's also playing it smart defensively, right? Against the attacks that you guys are not ready.
Yeah, well, which is pretty good. Pretty good stuff. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We've got Scotty Mayhem on the show. Scotty? Okay, we'll go back to Scotty. All right, let's go next. Man with the jet tattoo. Oh, nice.
There he is.
New hat wear. Okay.
Hey, Bob, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing? By the way, what's your real name?
Hey, listen, I got to tell you, I've been reading your comments.
You're going to have to come a little bit closer.
Yeah, your phone may be leaning on something. We're losing your audio a little bit. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
No, it's muffled a little garbled. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
Can you hear me now?
Still garbled. I don't know what's going on here. Here's what we'll do, man, with the jet tattoo. Try to. I'll kick you out of here real quick, and we'll see if you can circle back out and try to fix it. Yeah, you sound muffled for some reason. Let's see. We'll give Scotty another chance. Scotty. No Scotty. All right. Well, anywho. A couple of phone issues happening here on the program. That's all right. Appreciate you guys chiming in. We have a couple other comments to highlight as well. Again, we got nearly 300 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. We got a game day episode here on the channel. We had this question earlier, Bob, from Troy Sturgis. Thank you for the question. A member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. BG and Bob, what kind of offense would you like to see Tanner Engstrand run? Ben Johnson? Todd Monken? I'm hoping for a mixture. Plus, BG, any insights on how you're feeling about fantasy football? We'll get to that part later. What are we let's just sort of generalize it here. I mean, you can be specific if you have a preference to the Ben Johnsons or Todd Monkins of the world. Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. Ben Johnson, formerly of the Lions, now with the Chicago Bears. But what kind of offense are we expecting? Because obviously the things we've seen in the preseason is fugazi. It's not the real thing we're going to see once we get week 1 to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hey, Paul, describe for me a Todd Monken offense. I mean, when you say Baltimore Ravens, if it's the kind of team they have now, well, then the first thing you do is you compare their quarterback with our quarterback. And although they both can run like crazy, there's a difference in, throwing capability. So what exactly does he mean by a Todd Monken?
It's a good question. So Todd Monken is a guy that the Jets considered for a head coach back in 2019. He's an offensive mastermind who's been coaching football for 40 years. He was a 2-time national champion. He was the head man at Georgia for a couple of years as the offensive coordinator. Won a couple of national championships down there. Most recently, he's been in the NFL. He joined back up or returned to the NFL, 2 years ago, joining the Baltimore Ravens. And there's been some MVPs on the trophy case of one Lamar Jackson. It's just been creative play calling, innovative play calling, obviously a dedication to the run game, but it hasn't been like a 1940s wing T offense. Like there's just been a lot of movement. There's been a lot of explosive plays. There's been a lot of like getting Lamar Jackson on the move and doing creative things from that perspective. So it's sort of a Tanner Engstrand offense. We don't know what that looks like. Ben Johnson obviously has a lot of creative play calling too, but Monken has had a lot of explosiveness, which I think is excited. A lot of Ravens fans certainly, and I'm sure Jet fans too.
Do we have any idea what kind of offense Engstrom ran the 1 year he was an OC in college?
I do not. At San Diego State, where he was with Harbaugh. Also, he was a co-offensive coordinator in the now defunct XFL, which is now the UFL. He was there as well, and he co-called plays. So I don't know how that works. Do they trade plays on a play-to-play basis?
I think Engstrom is probably going to follow the Ben Johnson. Let's keep it simple at the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't think you want to get the young running backs, the second-year running backs, having to make all kinds of fancy maneuvers. I don't see a lot of fakes and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
To me, it looks like really a meat and potatoes type offense. And again, until it gets stopped, they're probably going to stick with it. Although there'll be some slights of hand just to keep the defense honest. But really hard to say. But all in all, I would think Engstrom is going to know what he has been best exposed to, and that worked, in Detroit. It's kind of interesting. There was an article here yesterday about Caleb Williams and how he has really adapted under Johnson to be much better at taking the ball under center instead of, taking the long snap. And it pointed out the fact that when you call it from under center, it gives you more opportunities to deceive the defense, particularly, when you want to, fake the handoff and throw the ball. But I think, you'll probably see a couple of little sleights of hand in the first game, just again to keep my offense, to keep the defense honest. But Paul, do you disagree with me? At some point, defenses are going to stack the box and say, "Go ahead, try to run and try to beat us with a pass."
Week 1 will be fascinating because the Steelers, in theory, should know as much about Justin Fields as anybody. He was their starter for 6 weeks, so offensive game planning, building around his strengths, hiding his weaknesses, and then just, quite frankly, that they had him in the building. So I imagine they're going to dare the Jets to beat them with the pass. They're going to put 12 guys in the box, and you can only have 11 guys on the field, and they're still going to put 12 guys in the box and say, Justin Fields, beat us. We dare you. We triple dog dare you. And to me, if I'm the Jets on the first play of the game, Arian Smith is running an out and up and stop and go, and I'm going to pump fake and then let it rip. And I'm just going to chuck it down the field. And it's one of 3 things going to happen. Either a deep shot for a touchdown and booyah, there you go, set the tone. Just in general, it's going to back off the defense like, whoa, okay, all right. They are willing to take deep shots that we had not seen throughout the preseason. Here we go. Or a penalty is drawn. Like, good things are going to happen from taking those kind of shots and being aggressive. So that's what I see happening. But I think you're right. Every team in the NFL, quite frankly, if we're being candid about Justin Fields and his struggle so far throughout his career, they are going to force him to beat them with the pass. And when he starts beating them with the pass, now all of a sudden we've got something cooking here. I think that's going to be the question. I think we have man with a jet tattoo back, so let's give it another whirl. Man with a jet tattoo.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
much clearer. I don't know what happened, but yes.
I know what happened. I had my earbud in and I forgot about it.
Okay.
And it did something with the microphone.
You look much better without your earbuds too.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Go. Yeah.
Anyway, there is so much hate going on. I wonder why these people even watch the Jets. Why do you even listen to content if you already made your decision? I mean, I listen to some other podcasts, Locked On. I don't want to tell you the rest of it, and I have to turn it off. I can't read it anymore. I'm like, why are you even wasting your time if you hate the Jets that much, or if you don't think you think the Jets are going to suck again? I mean, it's like, I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it.
I think a lot of fans have been conditioned.
Yeah, but
to expect the worst.
I don't know. For me, I reset it every year. I don't know. Maybe, again, the older you get, the more you get beaten down. I have no idea. But for me, every year, no matter what happened the previous year, my first season of doing this YouTube show, which I celebrate a 5-year anniversary coming up in 2 weeks. We had a 2-14 year. I did a pre and post game show every day for a 2-14 team, for the love of God. And somehow 5 years later, I'm still here. How is that even possible? And I reset the next year. I'm like, you know what? We can win the Super Bowl this year. We can figure it out. We can make it happen. So I convince myself every year that we can do this. And to me, the off season is the perfect time for hopium. Why not? Nothing's happened yet. We're all 0-0. Why can't we dream the impossible dream? If we get into the middle of the season, we're 2-10. Okay, I might have to adjust expectations slightly, but right now, hope is high. Hope is eternal, baby.
no matter what team you root for in whatever league that you watch, and I watch the Mets and the Jets and the Knicks and the Rangers.
I'm sorry to hear that.
The off season is always the time for hope.
Yes.
Who are they going to bring in that's going to be better than who they had last year, and how much better can they be?
Yeah.
And with the Jets, I think this is a particularly interesting year because they didn't go crazy in the offseason. They didn't spend a ton of money on free agents. In fact, they spent almost nothing except for the cornerback. But you have the new regime. You have Aaron Glenn and Muji, and you're hoping that they know what they're doing. And so far, at least from a public perspective, they seem to really have their what together. Okay, I'll see you later, dear. My better half.
Oh, okay.
See
you later, honey.
She just corrected me. Way better half.
Oh, way better half. All right. See you later, Mrs. Lederer.
I guess she co-wrote the book. I don't know.
Okay.
But
Thanks,
anyway,
Mrs. Lederer.
Yeah. But anyway, you have to have some hope just based on Glenn. I mean, and that's what I'm hanging my hopes on. And that the regime and the way he's running camp and the way he's holding people to account and doing everything he can to coach up these guys. Apparently, there's a tremendous amount of time that he personally is spending going around position by position. Because as he said yesterday, this is a game of vicious, hard-hitting tackling. And he said nothing has changed in the way successful teams become successful. You start from the basics and you build upon that, and you have accountability, and you have guys who are hungry and want to win. And I think there's a lot of guys on this team who fit that profile. Plus, they signed their two best players, which really sent a message to the rest of the team. Hey, if you produce, we're going to pay you, and we're going to we want to keep you here. So I think they have the ingredients. It's just now a matter of putting it together and the experience level and minimizing mistakes. This is, I think that the closest thing you can compare this to is the Ravens, where they told the quarterback, don't make a mistake. That's all you're here to do is hand the ball off and make simple, short passes. Don't make a mistake. And they put the defense put the offense in great position game after game to get some, easy TDs and a lot of field goals.
Anyway, good point, Bob. I think that it's not older guys that are, putting out all this negativity. I think it's a lot of younger people.
Really?
Because they don't have any patience. They want everything now.
Yeah.
They want instant win. Why can't I have it? Why can't my team win a Super Bowl? But you know what? When you've been watching a team, regardless of what it is, for as long as we have, I mean, I've gone through seasons where I've been so pissed off, I've ripped things off the wall, I've thrown things out the window.
Oh, my.
I mean, really, I've packed up everything on my wall and put them in boxes because I couldn't look at it anymore. And then you know what? When preseason came the next year, when training camp opened up, everything went right back where it was. because nothing's guaranteed. There's 32 teams, right?
Sure.
32 teams.
Yes.
Everybody is not going to be in the Super Bowl. All we want is competitive football, something we can enjoy every week.
Yeah.
That's what we want. That's what I want anyway.
There's nothing worse to me as a sports fan than the bubble blowing itself out after every loss.
Right.
Because you say, I got to wait 7 days, to hopefully get back on the winning side. As a baseball fan, when you lose the opening day, you kind of get deflated. But tomorrow we can play, and if you just get that first win tomorrow, okay, everything is okay. But with football, you got 7 days between games most of the time. But you're right.
Look what happened last week.
People are.
Look what happened last week with a preseason game. The season's over. Justin Fields sucks. I mean, My God, Justin Fields, I hope he's not reading this shit or listening to it. And another, like you got a guy like Allen, whatever the hell his name is. A guy like that, why do you come on here, Allen? I'd like to smack you in the head. I really would. I would like to smack a guy like that because if that's the way you think, why do you come on here just to antagonize people to get a rise out of them?
Yeah.
You want to get a rise out of me, Allen? Come to my house, tell me that shit, and I'll smack you in the head and say, "Get out of here. I'm watching the Jets. I'm going to enjoy the Jets. If you don't like it, I'll smack you in the head again."
Do you feel the same way I do after they lose a game? That, oh God,
yeah, I do.
The depth of despair, because
yes.
we could have won.
And I also feel, I'll never forget when I lived in Florida, we used to have a Jet bar, and we go to this bar, and we'd have we'd have a group of Jet fans, and we'd be watching the game, and I'll never forget the fake spike game with Dan Marino.
Oh, God.
I was in a bar, and we're watching that game, and that spike happened, and I think Aaron Glenn was involved in that.
Yeah,
he was.
Fake spike. And when it felt like somebody stabbed me in the heart.
Ugh.
And all those Dolphin fans are standing around laughing at you, and it's like, what are you going to do? I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning.
That's the life, fumble equivalent in different eras, obviously,
right?
But where a division rival is laughing at us and making jokes, and we lose. Oh God!
But the point is that the negativity.
There you go. Here's this real quick, man. With Jet Tattoo, Aaron Glenn was the DB on the play, according to him.
He was. That's true. Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah,
I thought it was
brutal.
So the point is, tonight's preseason game is going to be nothing, but I'll bet you tomorrow there's going to be content out there like.
Probably true.
I don't know if Justin Fields, you think he's going to play a series tonight, or
I would say not. My gut says no. I mean, we'll find out obviously here shortly with some announcement.
Right.
I'm sure.
So then tomorrow everybody's going to attack Adrian Martinez,
probably,
and then they're going to attack Brady Cook.
That's very possible.
The only guy that I'm interested in watching tonight is Edwards.
Oh, Donovan Edwards, who, by the way, if Isaiah Davis is as hurt as he's been out a couple weeks, there might be a path to the old Don making the roster. Yeah.
Who's the other receiver? Not Smith, the real tall guy. I can't think of his name.
6'5".
Skinner.
Yeah.
I think that guy's a keeper.
I'm curious the game. Where does he fit? Who does he end up being?
I know, but
I like him.
Yeah, I think he's a keeper. I think
what I think they need as the second receiver.
Who's that?
I'm not concerned about some speed guy. I'm concerned about a guy who really can run routes and get free, in the secondary, because Fields is the kind of guy who only is effective throwing the ball when the guy's wide open. He's not that effective from what I've ever seen in hitting a man on the run. But when the guy's wide open, that's when he really feels confident of letting the ball go. If there's any tight coverage at all, and you know how small the window is in the NFL, he either, doesn't make a very accurate throw or he doesn't make a throw at all.
So who's that guy?
If they're going to get another receiver, or if they're going to slot somebody on the other side, let it be, going back to the old days, a bullet.
I think we got a guy. I think we got a guy, Beck.
Well, that's a tight end, and he's going to use tight ends a lot because he always has.
Yeah, this guy looks really good.
Fullback, tight end, a little bit of a do-it-all.
He looks really good. I would take him over Ruckert any day.
Yeah,
I think Ruckert is gone after this.
I think so too. I think he needs to be gone.
Okay.
Anyway, listen, I don't want to take any more time, Bob. It was nice talking to you, Boy Green. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the game.
Before you run,
okay.
What's your real first name?
Carl.
Carl, have a great weekend.
You too, Bob. Boy Green, you have a good weekend too.
Amen. Thank you, Carl, a.k.a. Man with the Jet Tattoo, baby. Love it. Let's go.
I did that in front of my wife, and she said, "What the heck are you doing?"
Okay, that's all right. We'll get your wife on board.
We'll get her involved. It's only been 39 years, so I mean,
see, there you go. That means she's due, Bob.
She is. Yes,
she's
any year now.
I feel it.
Imagine if they, speaking of Kyle, imagine if they would start to win. She would look at me and say, "You're smiling. It's Sunday afternoon. You're smiling. What's going on?"
Jets wins. That's what's going on. Look at
Okay,
it. It
Kyle,
says
now
it right there in his name.
I want the truth now.
It
Are
says-
you the
it
Kyle
says-
Clifton?
You are the Kyle.
I am not the. I am a Kyle Clifton.
No. You are the.
To
Kyle
me, that's
Clifton.
good enough.
100%. Real enough.
Our Kyle Clifton.
100%. And that's más importante. That's our Kyle Clifton, man.
That's right. We are going to find out a lot about this team in the next 2 or 3 days. We haven't shown anything in the preseason. Been a lot of vanilla.
Yep.
If they're carrying, 4 running backs, if they're carrying 5 wide receivers, and they're carrying 4 tight ends, expect 12%, 40% of the time. I desperately want them to scour the waiver wires and look to supplant Jeremy Ruckert. I've had enough.
They need to because, but Kyle, I think we may have talked about this the other day. You don't believe that there is someone right now on the roster that's taking his job. It has to come outside, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I agree with. Like, I don't think Jeremy Ruckert's very good, but I look at the rest of the roster, I'm like, who's taking his job? Okay, Beck's making it. Mason Taylor's making it, obviously. Then who else? Zach Kuntz? Neil Johnson? Hell no. So it's got to be someone else.
If they're going to get another new tight end, it's going to be a guy who can really block.
I hope so. I hope so.
And I don't mind giving Kuntz another scholarship year on the practice squad.
Sure, I don't care. Right, fine.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think he might be on there with a guy like Quentin Skinner, who obviously is going to probably need a little bit more seasoning. He's got to put on some. He's got to put on some weight. He's had some problems getting off the line. I mean, he could be a future X for us, right?
He could be. Yeah, he's like $190 right now. He needs to get a lot more weight.
Yeah. I mean, if you can get up to like the 210, 212 range, then you're cooking with gas. Because if he can maintain a speed at 6'5", he's got great hands. That's something that you look for.
Yeah.
But I think Brandon Smith is making the team.
Okay, I like it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's shown a lot. Glenn was effusive with the praise the other day. He's got good hands. They need guys that are reliable, to catch the ball, because some of the other guys aren't. And
how many receivers are making this team, Kyle?
6. I originally thought it would be 5, but with Smith showing out, I think it's going to be 6.
Okay, who's your 6?
Pritchard, Smith, Garrett Wilson, Josh Reynolds, Tyler Johnson, and the 6th I had.
Is it Lazard?
No. It's not Lazard.
Okay, I like it. Okay, and then Brandon Smith obviously is one of those guys. Okay.
So
okay.
Do you see anybody being imported during the waiver period?
Well, I think that they're so scarce. I think they're few and far between, like you were saying, Bob. Like, I don't think there'll be a trade because I think they want to keep their powder dry for next year in a quarterback.
Makes sense. Yep.
And I think that you look for something on the waiver wire that might improve your depth, but I don't think you're going to have a 2 or 3 that just pops up on the waiver wire. So, what you're really doing is just improving the back end of the room.
Do you agree that most of the guys you'd pick up on the waiver wires are just guys you want to see yourself firsthand right in your camp so you can assess whether they can be a contributor or not? Or do you think that they look at guys and say, that guy can make a difference on our team?
I mean, they did that with Briggs on the defensive line, right? Mm-hmm. They thought they saw enough that they thought he could supplant some of the guys that they had already had in camp. I think it's a little bit different with receiver. But I just think with the scarcity, there's not really a good chance that we're going to improve that room. I think it's more likely that we might improve the tight end room.
Right, because that's the point. It's right there, Cobb, because what we're ultimately going to decide at waiver wire time is random guy. Is he better than Tyler Johnson or whatever name we say? Or is it an inconsequential difference? If it's inconsequential, then we're not doing anything. I think what people are saying is we're not looking for receiver 5 and 6. We're looking for a 3 or 2 if that exists out in the universe, and that is unlikely to be cut in waiver wire land. So that probably likely only happens via trade. And who is that guy that someone is giving up on that's a 2 or 3 that fits our profile? So that's the question.
And there's so many moving pieces if you want to bring in an Alec Pierce, right?
Right.
Like, what does it cost to bring in Alec Pierce in terms of money and draft picks?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for me, the discussion around an Alec Pierce would start with a 4th and a 6th.
Yeah, so the Devon Vele deal that just happened with the Saints Broncos.
Would you do that?
That's where it starts. I would do that.
You would.
Okay.
But I also would want a 24-hour window to talk terms with him. So
right. So he's not just having the 1-year deal thing.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but the problem is that the waiver wire doesn't. Well, the trades are.
It could be a trade situation, right?
What do you think about my comment about more depth at linebacker?
I've been kind of in and out. I was trying to get the kids out to soccer camp, to be honest with you.
No, that's okay. So the real question is this, Kyle. When's the last time you suited up?
No. They didn't have football in my high school. They have it now.
Oh,
but
wow, okay.
at the time I was 6'7", 230 pounds.
So you're saying that you still have some years of eligibility left. That's what you're saying. Is that what I just heard?
The knees from years of playing basketball and rugby are a little bit shot. So
too bad. Yeah.
It's it is a little too bad.
Wouldn't want to run into you in the middle of the lane. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean but I would have loved to have played if my high school had it at the time. I think I could have caused some damage off the edge.
Yeah.
Kyle, what do you think about we were talking about before about the other teams stacking the box, and then what did the Jets do?
Basically, the daring of Justin Fields, right?
So I if I'm the Jets, I welcome that, right? Because they're +1 in the run game with Fields. Like
100%.
I think that if they show a stack box where they're going to have to dedicate 9 guys to really impact or mitigate the run game, then you're going to have guys running free. And Fields can hit guys running free. He's completed enough passes and shown enough as a passer where he doesn't warrant total disrespect in the throwing game.
Mm-hmm.
That's my feeling on it.
Yeah.
But that said, he might not be the answer, but he's worth a look. This is 2 bites of the apple for Glenn to develop a quarterback. One with a veteran guy, one with a draft guy.
Yeah.
And I understand people's doubts about Fields. He hasn't done it yet. He hasn't been able to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But if he is able to be out there for 17 games, and this is the best offensive line he has, I don't see why he can't get to 3,200 yards. It's only 189 passing yards a game.
Right. We have realistic lines in the sand here. Right?
Do you think I'm right in my assessment? And this would be true actually of any real quarterback, is that hitting a guy who's wide open, which is really what Fields can do. And he likes going to the tight end. Right. And when the other team is going to stack the box, you're probably going to have 3 tight ends in the game in anticipation of that. And one of them is going to break free.
Right. That's exactly right. You're going to have controlled chaos because we're going to be hopefully going to be able to scheme things up with Angstrand. And you're going to have guys that are taking a blocking demeanor that are going to be able to end up drifting out and maybe finding themselves open in the flat or in the middle of the field. So let's see. Let's just see if the experiment. We all bought into the Rodgers experiment. We all said, let's give it a try.
Yeah.
Let's give this a try. We haven't really tried this yet. So we can go back to the drawing board with the draft last year. There was nobody that was realistic for us to take in that draft last year at all. You're not trading up from 7 to 1 for Cam Ward. For one thing, I don't think the Titans were moving on.
Do we know enough about the class that'll come out next year at this point to think that there's anybody that we should target?
There's a lot of people that we're hoping for. Like you're talking quarterback, Bob. There's a lot of people that we're all drooling over. Everyone talks about the quarterbacks are going to be really good, but none of us really know. And by the way, I just want to throw this comment up because I mentioned it with Kyle yesterday. Max Fuentes says if Jackson Hawes gets waived by the Bills to the Jets swoop in, I doubt that happens. So perhaps not. Although their roster is really deep, I don't know how the combinations are going to work. He was a late round pick, but 1,000%. Jackson Hawes is exactly what the doctor ordered. He's just a blocking man that's going to be there for the next 30 years playing in the NFL. Give me Jackson Hawes, and I will give you Jeremy Ruckert's head on a pike. Yes.
That was a great value pick for them. I think a guy to look for is the Chiefs' Jared Wiley.
Ooh,
He had an injury last year. This is his second year in the league, but they kind of have a good depth there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see if he shakes loose.
All right, Kyle.
Let me get back to the question I just asked you. Any of the QBs in college interest you?
Well, I mean, if we're gonna maintain the idea that we want to run a running quarterback, I like the maturity of Lenore Sellers and the tools of Lenore Sellers.
Carolina.
If you're going to try and develop a guy,
I'll give you a sleeper. Watch the quarterback at Illinois this year.
Who's that?
Because he's played. This is going to be his third year.
Okay.
And he's really gotten better every single year. No, I don't think he's a world beater.
What's his name?
I think he's definitely an NFL prospect.
What's his name, Bob?
Oh, I'm terrible with names.
Oh no, that's all right. So Illinois, we'll watch him.
In fact, I'll look it up as
Knoble. I think it's Knoble.
Anyway, no, I
think it's Knoble.
He's really matured, and I don't watch every Illini game, but I watch a lot of them, and he's really gotten better every year.
Okay,
and he'll be
we'll
a senior this year.
All right, Kyle. Thanks, brother, for the call. Appreciate it.
Have a good weekend.
Take care, guys.
Our Kyle Clifton joining us here on the show. JACK, a.k.a. Jack, is joining us with a comment saying, when do the first cuts happen? It's not first cuts anymore. There's no waves. So cuts could happen immediately. Basically, after the preseason game, the Jets could immediately start getting to work. Every team in the National Football League by Tuesday, August 26th, must have their rosters down by 4 o'clock from 90 players to 53. So it's all by that 4 o'clock date. And then over the next, whatever the math is on that, that's 12, the next 20 hours, then waiver claims happens, and those are revealed on noon the next day. So that's all the cuts. That's how they happen, and that will be happening here.
The quarterback at Illinois is Luke Altmaier.
Luke Altmaier. Let's put him on the draft board, baby.
Put him on the
Why
draft
not?
list.
Yep. I'm always ready to talk draft in August as a Jets fan. I always have to be prepared for that. All right, let's go back.
Start early enough.
Yeah, that's it. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Our boy, One Punch Briga's back, baby. What's up, Dave?
There he is. I've been waiting to talk to you after watching you the other day. You ready to do some rock'em sock'em football?
Bob, I'm always ready to go, my man. I'm always ready. Anyway, great points by good morning, gentlemen. Great points by Mr. Clifton and my paisani there, Mr. Jets Tattoo. So really, I can't add any more. I want to be redundant. So I guess the only thing I really have to say at this point is about the Matt Snell situation. I think it's really admirable about everybody trying to bring reconciliation here.
Sure.
But you know what? I think a lot of things have to do with pride and a lack of humility. And really, no employer really owes anybody anything once your time is up. And Matt Snell is a great, he's a great player. He's possibly, I really don't know anything about his personal life, as far as being a person. I guess Bob would know better than I would. But you know what? There comes a time when things, if you can't reconcile, you just have to accept. I mean, maybe he just got, sometimes the first person has to reach out. And I don't think it's going to be the Jets or Woody. I mean, I just don't think that's going to happen.
And it doesn't sound like it's going to be Matt Snell. So now we're here.
No. I mean, hey, listen, we've all had relationships in our life, and sometimes, it just results in separation. If one party doesn't somebody has to step out first. And that party, to me, seems like it has to be, Matt Snell has to put a lot of pride into the background. I mean, we know what happened.
Dave, in your working career, have you ever been the boss?
We've had our own business. My dad was my boss. Okay.
Let me ask you this. If a good employee, a good former employee of yours had come to you and said, I need a reference or I need a recommendation, would there have been any hesitancy at all to give it to that person?
Well, when you say good employee, I'd have to know their whole background, what they do both inside the job and
let's say
outside.
a guy, let's be specific. A guy that had worked for you for 8 to 10 years, had always been reliable, had produced when it was really, important for you, like that last quarter of the year when you wanted to make the numbers and such for the organization and such. And the guy leaves or he's whatever the reason is, he leaves and he comes back to you the next year and says, hey, I got a chance to get a job at X company, not competitive with you in any way, okay, in a completely different field. Can I get a reference from you, or can I get a written recommendation from you? Because that's what the only thing that stands between me and getting that job. Because that's what happened to Matt Snell. And I think that there's really no reason at all why the Jets could not have given either of those two things.
Right. Well, as long as you don't live your life in different compartments, yes, okay? Because you could be two persons, one inside the job and one outside the job. And I've seen that happen on many occasions, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So personal lives, if his personal life was clean, yes, I would give him, a recommendation. As long as his, daily work was, was acceptable and he was, quality workman, yes, definitely. But you know what? I guess the problem comes here is that it was Johnson the one that, that it was brought to give him the recommendation.
No, this happened with Leon Hess in 1974.
Well, see, that's a whole different story. I mean,
yeah.
So Johnson's he's not the smartest hack in the box. You know that. I mean, he's you could see the way he ran the team. I mean, it's so as far as business world. I mean, I don't think he has a lot to do with Johnson & Johnson. As a matter of fact, I mean, I don't know it as a matter of fact, but I believe that. So I don't. He's sort of like oblivious to a lot of things, Johnson.
Well, yeah, that's what we're talking about here, as far as the Jets making the overture, because Matt feels that he was really wronged in 1974.
Yeah, but see, we were all wronged in our lives. Every one of us,
the world is different today. You can't, if somebody calls you now and says, "Tell me about Joe Smith. Did he work?" All you can answer is, "Did he work for you? How long did he work for you?" You can't even give an assessment of whether he was a good worker or a bad worker. You can't even say, "Yes, I'd hire him," or "I wouldn't hire him." But it was a different world back in 1974, and we were in the midst of a terrible crisis with people out of work, and we had a big gas shortage problem in the country, and inflation was running wild.
I lived through those times. I know exactly.
Yeah, and I did too, and happily I was working. But Matt needed a job, and he had been in the construction industry when he was a college kid. He helped build Shea Stadium. Most people don't know that. And he had a chance to become a foreman for a construction company. And he went to the Jets, run by the Hess organization, say, "Hey, can you give me a reference that I was a good employee here?" And how could anyone on the Jets have felt that Matt Snell was not a good employee? And especially after what he did in Super Bowl III and how his career ended on the field, where he almost died, from a ruptured spleen.
Sure.
Hey, I mean, that, Dave, that's the crux of what Matt Snell has been holding inside and being upset about for years. And, as I said before, I just think if we're going to get Woody, or if Woody's ever going to get up and say, "Okay, let's do something here, let's bring him back into the family," the only way that's going to happen is we're going to have to heap praise on Woody and say, "Woody, you are a great guy, and we know your heart is a Jet, and you can be a hero to us and to a lot of the Jet fans out there. And all you got to do is you've got to make the big gesture. You've got to make the first move." And that's what we're talking about.
Well, that's very admirable. In reality, we would hope that would happen, but what are the odds of really that happening? This guy is really asleep. He doesn't have any feel for things, Woody. He really doesn't have any feel. Because just look at the way he's run the team since he's owned it. I mean, you have to be to be a good owner means you just don't stick your nose in when it's too late, like he did last year. I mean, he has to be a good owner is proactive, and he's got his heart into the team, fully. Just because your name's on the paper as the owner, you know that, Bob. I mean, I've owned business. I work for people. I still work today. And you know what? You have to have your nose there, even as an employee. Now, I feel so bad for Matt Snell because I watched that Super Bowl. If it wasn't for him, we weren't winning that game because he ran his brains out. Okay, I mean, he was. If you really want to say it, that he was the MVP. We know that. We know he was the MVP, right?
Of course, yes.
You what, Bob? What would you say? He was the MVP.
No, I'd say
right?
he was. I'd say he was the co. And he has disdained any comment that I made to him during my interviews with him that he thought that he should have been the MVP. He says, no, I'm never. I don't believe that. I'm never going to say that. And Sonny Werblin bought him a car 2 weeks after the Super Bowl. Bought him a Cadillac, a mint green Cadillac, because he said, I thought you were the co-MVP. And he ran like a wild bronco that day. No single Colt could take him down. They had to
the offensive line too. The offensive line blew them out. I mean, but when you say co-MVP, we know why that was, because Joe.
Yeah, Joe stirred the drink. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He was the difference maker.
Right. But I mean, I'll always appreciate him for those years that they ran the ball. I mean, before Boozer got hurt, that knee injury, I mean, they were a fantastic running tandem. I mean,
he was the Gale Sayers of the American Football League. Before
when he hurt that knee and the way they used to do the surgeries, they were never the same. Those old surgeries, when you looked at guys' knees after ACL surgeries in the old days, it was frightening. It was
because it was experimental back then.
Yeah, I mean, it was right. Bob, but you remember the AFL?
Dave, do me a favor and do yourself a favor. It's shameless of me. Buy my book and read it. I'd love to get your feedback on what I wrote about that team, because you're old enough, like me, to have remembered that team. How old were you when they won the Super Bowl?
17.
Okay, so you beat me by a year. You were a year older than me, so you remember that team forwards and backwards.
Well, I remember the AFL days. To me, that was the best football I could remember in my life. I loved the AFL. When they had the merger, I was disgusted because, and people don't realize this fact, the AFL gave the black players, they gave them a scene to play. These are where we saw football. We saw the game come open.
Yeah,
it was no longer 3 yards in a cloud of dust, like they used to say. You know what I mean? I mean, they threw the ball.
Were you surprised they won the Super Bowl that day?
Well, I sat with my buddy Mike, and he was an old Baltimore Colts fan from Johnny United. He wasn't old. We were high school. But he loved the Colts. But he became a Joe Willie fan, and he really liked Joe before I did. He saw Joe Willie this, Joe Willie that. Anyway, we sat there, and to be honest with you, we were hoping they'd win, but there was so much NFL bravado, and I was an AFL guy. We grew up in my area as this was before the Steelers became the predominant team in my area, before the 70s. The Jets on our NBC affiliate, that was our home team. Okay. So even though I'm in Pennsylvania, that was our home team. So
you saw the home game. You saw the home games and the road games.
We saw them, including the Heidi game that Sunday night. When they
Oh
turned
my God! Unbelievable.
Yeah. That was the all timer, because we were just sitting. So anyway, but and a lot of the people used to follow the Buffalo Bills here. That was because it's not far. It's only like 300 miles, whatever it is. The Buffalo Bills and the Jets were big in this area. And we still see a lot of Bills stuff here. But, of course, in my area, it's the Eagles, Steelers. That's all I see every single day.
Where are you in Pennsylvania?
I live in Clark Summit, Pennsylvania, right outside of Scranton.
Okay.
But my family grew up in North Jersey. After World War II, everybody worked in Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I have relatives in New York City, but nobody listens. Everybody flees New York anymore. Nobody stays there, So they all come out here.
Well, Dave, I can't wait, because eventually there's going to be a day where we get to meet at one of these Jets games and do something that's going to be pretty cool.
I'm going to Florida. I'm going to the Tampa game.
Nice.
The last Jets game I was at was actually December 27th, 2015, when they beat the Patriots in overtime.
So
and
wow.
I really
don't. We're both there at the game, Dave. Like, we didn't know each other apparently, but we were both at that game. I was at that game as well.
Right. I was on the third level with fighting Gronkowski fans up there. You should have tried to fight that was in front of me.
Dave, buy the soft cover version of my book. It's really cheap.
All right, there you go.
It doesn't matter.
I know you'll enjoy it, but I'll tell you what. and Paul will be, the person who will hold the evidence. If you don't like the book, I'll give you a refund myself.
There you go.
Oh, I'll get out of here. Yeah, I'm sure I'll like it. But it's good to know that we still have some people left from the era where we had golden Jets football, and it's fun. Mr. Jets tattoo and Clifton hit it, so I don't want to be redundant. But yeah, we got to have patience. I mean, we've had patience since 1968, 69.
That's true. Yeah.
So I mean, listen. Here's how I put it.
Okay.
Just football is just one aspect of life. If you put your whole, life into football, you're going to be disappointed no matter what team you like. This is only one aspect of life. You have to have a life outside of football. Some of these kids today, I mean, they're just, consumed, with just things like this instead of things that actually count. So don't put your trust in a game. It's just it's the candy store of life. That's it. We get to enjoy things, right, Bob? Tell them you're an experience.
You nailed it. That's the way you got to look at it. It's a hard reality, but it's a reality.
It is, but make sure. Hey, listen. There's nobody tougher than Jets fans. I think I'm fans of different teams, and I've seen losses and wins. I'm a Phillies fan. I'm a Boston Bruins fan. I've seen us on top of the world, and I've seen us take some terrible losses too. So, I mean, I can see it from all realms. I just don't stick to one city as a team. My area, that's the way we work here in Pennsylvania. We have all different.
As a Jets fan and a longtime Philadelphia Phillies fan, you're not a front runner, that's for sure.
There you go.
Oh no, and I'll go down to the end with those teams too, especially whatever the team is. When
I moved to Chicago in 1983, people said, "Are you a baseball fan?" Yep. American or national? National. Now I grew up in New York, a Mets fan. They said, "Oh, you can become a Cubs fan." I went, "What?"
Hey, I have to say this one thing. Yeah. Plus, remember this, Mets fans, we're 7 games ahead of you.
There you go. That's a good
remember last year? Anybody remember last year in the playoffs?
That's true. So 2 things.
Thanks,
here.
Dave.
Thank you, Dave. Always legendary. First off, William says the hardcover copy right now is on eBay for less than $10. So there you go. You can get that right now.
I want to force HarperCollins to have to print the 10,000 copies they said they were going to print originally.
Yeah, there you go. Also, was that Dave Briga or was that LL Cool J? That's one of our commenters suggested that they've seen that hat before. Fox Sports Talk says, I think I saw LL Cool J wearing that hat. So,
actually, I thought that Paulie wore that hat in Rocky.
That's a good point too. Paulie did wear that. So who wore it better here, Bob? Is it Dave? Or LL
Dave makes Paulie look like nothing.
Okay, there you go. I love it. Great shout out there from our guy Fox Sports Talk. All right, let's close to wrapping up the show here. Our next caller is Neil Senior. What's up, Neil?
Hello, guys. How are you?
Look at the weather Neil there. Beautiful.
How are you?
Wow. Great. Oh man, what a show! I'm getting the goosebumps about the old days, Bob.
There you
go. Neil, how old are you, and where are you calling from?
I'm from Long Island. I'm a Jersey guy. Grew up with the Namath era. I became a Jet fan when I was 7 years old. My dad took me to the championship game with the Raiders.
Wow.
He paid $150 to scalp a ticket for me to go. I was the youngest guy in the stadium.
Do you know what a ticket cost to that game?
Yeah, it was like $20.
Yeah. And I lived 2 miles away.
Wow.
Interesting thing, Bob. We were supposed to. I think Paul might know this story, but I went to the Jet championship game. My dad was a big Namath guy, and he was convinced that Namath was going to win a Super Bowl. And he had his own TV and appliance business. He was an entrepreneur, and he had a lot of people come in the store during the 2 weeks prior to the Super Bowl. And he ended up betting everybody, his guy to clean the store, the guy that did the windows, his oil man. He accumulated $4,000 worth of wagers.
Wow.
Between 18 and 21 points. Guys were giving him 3 touchdowns as a joke. That's how much of a joke he thought it was.
Yeah, that's how big an underdog the Jets were.
So my dad promised to take us to Miami for the Super Bowl, my brother and I. And I was so excited. I knew everybody on the team. I was, just purely in ecstasy. And my dad, because he owned an appliance store, General Electric gave him and my mom a free trip to Hawaii Super Bowl weekend. So my dad comes home one day and says, I got a problem, Neil. We can't go to the Super Bowl. I go, what? He goes, I'm all ready. I'm packed for Miami, Dad. What are you talking about? He goes, look, Mom and I have to go to Hawaii. I can't say no to that trip. And your mother,
Have to go.
right. Your mother's like, and he goes, Neil, I promise we'll go to the next Super Bowl together. He's up there now watching. But we had a lot of great times together. I bought 50-yard line seats. He came to me with games. I had one season I was right in front of the Hess box. Great man. I was in the Hess box with my dad. He invited us in the box. What a great guy, a great owner. This guy, our current owner is just ridiculous, and it's a shame.
What do you think about the Hess situation, the Matt Snell situation? As I've outlined,
I agree with you wholeheartedly. He definitely deserves to be in. He had the best game and I agree, he was a co-MVP, if not the MVP. But you couldn't, when a team wins the Super Bowl, what is it? How many outside quarterbacks ever get the MVP?
Very rare.
Right.
Especially with everything Namath was.
And Namath, exactly. I mean, for the fanfare and everything, obviously, it was crazy. One of my favorite players was Riggins, and I was really upset when they got rid of Riggins. And we all know what he ended up meaning for Washington and their Super Bowl run. Correct. If you want to talk about a running back that took a game over and really pulled a team through the Super Bowl, no guy in a running back position ever did what John Riggins did to pull Washington into a Super Bowl.
And I see a lot of Riggins in Allen right now.
Yeah. All right.
Same kind of
runner. In Braylon Allen you're talking about?
Yeah. Same kind of
okay.
runner.
I hope so. That's
he'll make his own yards for you, but if you don't bring him down, he'll be gone. He's got enough speed to take it all the way.
Yeah, he's a fast guy. Riggins was a track star in college, and nobody really
people forget about that.
His speed when he broke around the outside, but he was a punisher. He looked for that contact. He was a special guy. I've seen documentaries on him. He was just incredible. And, looking forward here, I was really, every year, hope springs eternal. Football is a big part. Jet football is a big part of my life. I've been where I live, where I go. Everybody associates me with the Jets.
Of course.
It's my thing. If we ever get to Broadway, I certainly deserve a seat in a convertible going down with the confetti flying on my head. Yeah. I'll make sure I'm in there, and hopefully we'll all be there.
Sure. Save me a seat, Neil. Save me a seat.
Yeah, it's getting late in the game, but the reality is, this year, last year I was pretty heartbroken. I thought Rodgers would have given us the best chance, to get a Super Bowl, and he's gone. And, now we have a new situation here. And I'm really hopeful and I'm confident with Aaron Glenn, because I see a leadership there that really has been lacking in our coaching. Really, the only two leaders as coaches that I could see in the last 30 years is Parcells and Rex Ryan. I thought Rex Ryan was a great leader of men. Yeah. He inspired guys, and he got guys to play above their level, and got guys very, very excited to hit and play football. And that's what I see Aaron Glenn doing. I'm really hopeful. And I never thought, we all look at rosters and we're all caught up with PFF, and all the young guys today, they're all caught up with the players and who they are and what their stats are. But there's not enough emphasis put on what a coach can do to get the best out of that player. And from what I see starting off is that it seems to be that Aaron Glenn is generally got these guys bought in. I mean, obviously, we're not going to see what kind of coach he is until he really faces adversity where we have a loss or two and how he could get these guys going and if we're down, how it's going to work. But the two things I think are going to be a major difference this year is the coaching, the mistakes being down, and our offensive coordinator, this guy Angstrom. I mean, look, we don't know yet. Nobody really knows what we're going to be looking at, but he seems to have, even on a vanilla offense, he schemed guys wide open in the preseason. And that's big. I don't see any of our offensive coordinators that have been able to scheme guys open or have any creativity whatsoever because you know it and I know it. Bob and Paul sees it too. I mean, I watch games. I'm a goer. I just gave up my season tickets, but I haven't missed an opener in probably 30 years, personally going to it with my boys. But what I see, with this team is I see that the ground and pound thing is going to be really good. And I see if we could properly put these guys in position that we're going to score a decent amount of points on offense. I really like Wilkes because I think we didn't do enough blitzing. I mean, last year, if you looked, and we weren't able to get to the quarterback, we didn't really do much to mitigate that. We didn't blitz. And when we did, we had success doing it, but we didn't stick to that plan. Wouldn't you agree with that, guys?
Yeah, yeah, I do. What I love about his coaching so far, and this is just very basic, is as we saw in the first game when Fields ran for the touchdown, is that the wide receiver on the play who knew he wasn't going to get the ball on the play still completed his route and kept his man away from Fields as Fields headed to the end zone.
Right.
And that's such a big part of football is doing your job to the completion of that play, because that's what it's drawn up to be. There's a reason, why you do that. The other thing I really like about Glenn doesn't seem like we have to do it just for now. He's trying to get these guys, and he himself, I think, and Muji have more of a long-term, attitude about building the team. They know they're not going to build the team in 1 year, even maybe in 2 years, but you put the building blocks in place. And next year, I don't see them as a playoff team this year, but next year, maybe they compete for a playoff spot. And by year 3, they're a playoff team and maybe better.
Look, I don't see any reason why, the team, the way they're constructed. I mean, some people say we're 6 pieces away from being a contender. I don't see it that way. I see a couple little plug and plays here and there. We do have some really, really good talent on this team that we really didn't have, when Saleh took over in 2020. It was a horror show. I don't think that Glenn is inheriting a bad team. I think he's inheriting a really good team. And we had, everybody looks at us last year, oh, we only had 5 wins. But, when you really look at it, we really could have had 9 wins very easily with a couple of stupid mistakes made here and there. The kicking game, 1 game, the defense giving up 2 drives to mediocre quarterbacks that lost us 2 games. This, that, and the other thing could have been a whole different component here. And that's where I see that those little changes that Aaron Glenn can make, keeping guys sharp and what they could do and how they do things and cutting down on the mistakes, the penalties especially, will end up with a lot better result at the end. So I'm optimistic, as I always am. And I can't wait for the season to start. I'm excited.
So Neil, you said you and the boys are all coming to week 1, right? Or are you guys going to be there for week 5? I mean, Jets Cowboys.
I'm taking it game by game, Paul.
Okay, all right. We'll see.
I'm not gonna. I committed. I said to myself,
okay,
I'm not going to get to any games. I want to see the first 4 go.
All right.
I want to be at least if we go 0-2 out of the gate, that drops us to about a 20% chance of making the playoffs. So
what if the games are close?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm looking like you, Bob. I'm looking for a competitive game. I'm looking for us to make the effort all the way through. And, I can enjoy the game watching it at home just as much as I can going. Honestly, going to the game, the only good experiences I have are in the tailgates. I mean, I'm a tailgate maniac.
Yeah. You know, the NFL did research about five or 10 years ago. I knew the research director at the NFL, and she was telling me they had a huge problem because a lot of the season ticket holders finally reached that realization that, hey, I can stay at home and have an easier time and a better time and get as many beers as I like, and have it whenever I want. And I can get up during the commercials and such. And the NFL's really got a problem as far as filling that ballpark with more than just numbers, but getting bodies in the seat.
We won't have that problem week 5, baby. Jets, Cowboys. We got 75 Boy Green Coffee Club members and Jet fans heading to that game.
Hey, Neil, same offer to you as I gave to Dave. Buy the book, and if you
I think I read. I'll be honest with you. I think I read the book. Was there a story? Was there a story in there that I never? There was a guy that made a comment that he betted a large amount of money against the Jets because the night before the Super Bowl, I believe it was the night before the Super Bowl.
No, it was the AFL championship game.
It was the championship game where he came out of a hotel at like 5 a.m. And this guy said there's no way he's going to win a game because he was with a woman.
Actually, we didn't have anybody saying that they were betting against them, but because I've seen that on clips of documentaries and such. But I did have the fact that policemen said that they saw him coming out of the hotel room and out of the hotel at God knows what time. He got to the ballpark early enough, which wasn't always the case.
Well, Joe was a super talented individual, and he had that mindset. Like, to me, he was so amazing. Like LT, right? Everybody has these documentaries on LT and how he could basically party all night long, come to the stadium without practice, and just put on a show and get 3 sacks and a forced fumble in a game when he didn't even sleep the night before, or even the night before that, because he was on a coke binge or something.
Yesterday afternoon, I just happened to come across a condensed game of the Jets against the Oakland Raiders in 1972. And this is at the end of Namath's career as a Jet. And I was still amazed at what he was able to do. And he didn't have the quick setup that he'd had when his legs were much younger and he was in much better shape. But my goodness, the arm and his ability to hit the open receiver, or even to hit a receiver with 2 or 3 guys around them, was just remarkable.
The thing that most people don't realize is that when he was at Alabama, his coach was Paul Brown, right, Bob?
Brian.
Who was his coach? Paul Bryant.
Paul Bryant.
He said that the best athlete he ever coached was Joe Namath.
Yep.
So what a shame of it all was that his knees got hurt so early in his career that we really didn't get a chance to see his athleticism, which, man, if he was in today's league with the amount of things they could do with the knee problems, because like the previous caller said, once these guys get a knee problem in those days, your career was over because they didn't have the surgical ability to bring you back like they do today.
At the press conference when Namath was introduced by the Jets, their medical staff had their first chance to look at his knees. And after looking at his knees in the bathroom, they came out and they whispered to Werblin, "You better get yourself a backup quarterback."
Right.
Well, Neil, thank you so much for calling in, brother. Appreciate it,
guys,
man. And hey,
great show. Great to listen to Kyle spew his knowledge.
Yep.
Yeah.
One Punch is the best. Brigga, love the Jet tattoo. Great show, and I agree with Jet tattoo. If Alan ever came into my house, he'd have a big problem. I don't think he'd get out alive, but I do. Look, Alan is Alan. We always need a villain in the world, and I think Alan loves the role of villain, and I'm okay with that because guess what? We need somebody to punch on once we become a winner, right, Paul? Once we win, we'll be looking for Alan, won't we?
Yep, he's going to be the human punching bag for all of us. I look forward to it. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming on a 2+ hour pregame show, for God's sakes, here on August 22nd. I will be back on very shortly because we're doing fantasy football coverage in less than an hour on this very channel. So we'll be doing that. Bob, as always, thank you so much. And I'm sure we'll see you for the postgame show.
Thank you, and pray for no injuries and for a big game from Edwards.
That's it, Donovan Edwards. Let's go. Thanks, everybody. Like the video, hit subscribe. We'll see you. Take